Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Daily Crypto News. And the question of today is, what was the first coin or crypto coin you ever got to know about? For me, it was Bitcoin, but let me know what coin your first one was in the comment section down below. I'm really eager to see some of you guys' crazy coins that you might have. So also, I want to tell you guys to go ahead and check out my second channel. It is called Dusty Finance, and I personally think it's a really good channel. Now, I just posted a new video on here like 5 minutes ago about the new $3 trillion cash injection, which will also lead to, or I guess is the cause of the new $1,200 to $6,000 stimulus checks. And there's no ads on this whatsoever, so I recommend you guys to go ahead and check it out. A link will be in the description. Now, as I said before, today is going to have some crazy topics and really recommend you guys to watch to the end. And if you want to support the channel, make sure you press the like button and subscribe. First today comes from Alex Cobb. He says, I can't wait for Ripple to IPO. This will shine a huge spotlight on XRP, especially if the stock performs very well. And I actually have my own opinion on this. I do think he is exactly correct, and I'm really eagerly waiting for it as well. But I also think it's going to really change all that we're busy with. For example, it's going to take away a lot of this uncertainty that we have with XRP. However, it's also going to be adding a couple, I personally think, of new centralization mechanisms. And one of the things I think is going to happen is the whole amendment process that we've been seeing with some of the new cool deletable accounts features, for example, on XRP. Yeah, a lot of these things are going to be added in as Ripple is going to get closer to an IPO, if they're even ever going to get there. Because I think a lot of the investors really interested in Ripple, they would like all of that, to have more control over XRP. And I'm also wondering, again, this is just a wonder, no guarantee or whatever, if anything is going to be changing on the money that they have in escrow, on the escrow side, if they want to IPO. I'm just kind of wondering if it's going to be changing, or if they're just going to be going on with the operations as now. Well, at least if they go IPO, I personally believe that there will be so much interest in this, and interest, I'm talking about demand for the stock, that it's going to add a lot of legitimacy to the project. It's going to be insane. And I think a lot of banks and whatnot will also take them a little bit more serious if they're such a huge company. And I'm wondering how good it would do, because in theory it sounds so amazing, but then again, this whole stock debate is another completely different side, which is why I'm like a little bit scared. Because if the stock does do really bad, it could also turn out to be a disaster. However, I don't expect that to happen. I expect there to be a lot of demand for such groundbreaking technology if it were to go public. Kevin Cage said, if you truly think XRP will not serve a purpose in the future, you have just not looked into the following groups: Earthport, CGI, Finastra, NACA, Task Group, Temenos, Volante, ACI, Hyperledger, and Interledger, and there's literally too many groups to name and explain at this point. Solid explanation right there once more. The connections that XRP has are ridiculous. Ridiculously big, ridiculously broad, ridiculously good, and it's just going to be a matter of time before it's all going to kind of get the ball rolling, right? Because we all know the connections are there. RippleNet has a lot of customers in place. Customers will only get more volume, for example, from ODLs ramping up and liquidity every time we're making new all-time highs. It's a little bit of a build-up game, and at one point, the switch. There's no switch that has to be flicked over, but it's like the snowball that's rolling down the icy or snowy mountain right now has started rolling, but all it needs to do is just roll a little bit longer for it to go really, really big and go berserk and roll down like crazy. Right now, it's just a small little snowball, but it's already started to roll, and it'll just take some time before it's really, really going to get going. XRP_owl said on Twitter, XRP is ready for global enterprise adoption, more importantly, utilization. Testing is done. Rails are done because they're built by Ripple and many others. Everyone else is just catching up at this point. The most efficient digital asset in the world. If you can't see it by now, you're blind. Kind of wondering what you guys think on that. Do you agree? Do you not agree? Let me know in the comment section down below. I do think the testing phase is done for a lot of companies as they've tested it out. They've been happy, or I guess some might have been unhappy and left, but we didn't really know about that. We only know the positive side to things. The rails are built while we're seeing a good infrastructure get built up here, so that's to a certain extent true. I would say that the rails is actually in the building process, as I would consider rails a lot of these corridors that are being built right now, like for example, Australian dollar, or I guess like you could say another freaking ZAR, for example, South African. Just name yourself a fiat pair. All those being set up, with the connections, I would see as the rails, because that's really the basis of this whole technology that we're believing in, right? This cross-border payments type of scenario. Yeah, it all kind of relies and revolves around different currency pairs. And if we only have a couple, then you're only kind of halfway through building the rails, right? So I would say that that is not done but being built as we speak, and everybody's catching up. Well, a lot of people are not believing and understanding enough of the project, I would say, which is a little bit of a bummer. However, I don't think it's going to be a little bit of I don't think it's an issue at all, actually. I think the people that need to catch up have caught up, and a lot of these big guys are just waiting their turn. It's not a catching up game. It's just it needs to get to them eventually game, because nobody wants to start out with something so revolutionary. They want to see it first, and then they'll hop on. Might make them less money, but it'll be a lot safer since they're risking too much money to lose. The crypto dog said, "What price level do we need to break for everyone to turn bullish?" Which I at first wanted to do as the question of the day, but then I was like, yeah, it's too much explanation, too much typing. A lot of people don't like to do that type of stuff. But I'm kind of wondering, at what price level do you think we've turned bullish? So to me, I think, if we're talking, when would I personally feel like we've really gone into another bull market, is most likely when we cross $15,000. So I would say like 14,600 already to make it simple, but $15,000 really is when I would say like, all right, everything we talked about before, bogus. We're getting into a new cycle. This is going to be crazy. That's the point for me. And with XRP, that will most likely be, it's actually difficult to say, because all the prices now feels like such a long time ago, so far away. If it were to get above 50 cents again, I would go completely berserk. But if it goes above, let's say 35 cents again, it would also be really, really strange in my head to comprehend that I cannot do, XRP, your amount of dollars times 5 to get your XRP. I would have to do your amount of dollars times 3. If we were to go to 33 cents again, that's just kind of crazy to me. Every time I'm thinking about buying XRP, I can just like, all right, every dollar I spend is 5 XRP. Well, yeah. Then it's only going to be 3 XRP. It's kind of strange. And also, again, what I showed you guys in my last video, that $3,000 turned into $1 million in like 1.5 years. That's also in the back of my head all the time as well, which is when I'm like, would I want it to be soon? Would I want it to be a bullish market? I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, maybe I should be just accumulating for a lot more. But then on the other hand, I'm like, yeah, no. A good big bull run would be a lot nicer. All right, and now a little bit of the less bloomy side. History has repeated itself. F2 Pool explains message in last block before halving. Ushering in Bitcoin's third halving, by far the most highly awaited crypto event of the year, mining pool F2 Pool rooted a mysterious message into the blockchain that will now reside there forever. I told you guys about it. It's a little bit of a social thing, or a political thing, I would say. I don't know exactly what it said anymore, but we covered it in one of the previous videos. I just saw the mention here again. I thought I should also re-mention it for all the people that did not know, but just look it up if you care. I don't think it's important. However, Bitcoin hash rate is tanking, yet nobody should be panicking. Bitcoin's hash rate has dropped significantly post-halving, but it's a move that many in the mining industry anticipated and most expect will only be temporary. Yeah. Following Bitcoin's third halving, mining revenue has been halved. The network's strength measured in hash rate is very much tied to this revenue and is similarly decreasing. Miners say they expect the drop and it won't last. Or expected to drop. This has been known for a very long time. We talked about this for a very long time as well. It was expected that just after it was going to drop. And there's a whole long explanation for this, and I don't recommend you guys to read it unless you really, really care about, hash rate, or if you're panicking about the Bitcoin network kind of falling out. However, I can tell you guys there's a very good certainty that nothing is going to be happening. You shouldn't be worried about anything. And again, don't mind it if you don't care. it's something you gotta care about. Otherwise, this is a very good in-depth article, and I'm not gonna be reading it to you because I think most people don't care. But if you do, let me know in the comment section down below. Ernst & Young, nearly 17,000 claims from creditors submitted on Quadriga CX assets. Ernst & Young, the trustees of the now bankrupt Quadriga CX crypto exchange, announced nearly 17,000 applicants have filed the remaining assets of the exchange, or for them, which is pretty crazy because it claimed that it will pay the funds totaling to around $300 million in current valuation, Canadian dollars. However, the process to pay out the customers is expected to take years due to court and technical proceedings, and I didn't know that many people would show up. 17,000, that's insane. 2 days after the Bitcoin halving, network remains strong. Higher fees, bullish sentiment. So yes, that all has to do with this as well. That the network is kind of tanking, or which will make things a little bit more expensive, a little bit more chaotic. However, in the end, people are still bullish about Bitcoin. All is good. All is #Seifu, and I'm pretty happy with it all. So don't worry too much about it. Everything is staying strong. Everything's staying good. You can check network health by just typing in Bitcoin network health or something like that. You'll find a lot of statistics online as well if you want to compare. But I think all is good, all is fine. I'll see you guys again in another crypto video, as this was all for today, folks. Thank you all for watching. See you guys again in another crypto video, and take care, everybody. Have a very, very nice day.